Hello and welcome to Survive the Unexpected with your host, Frank Pacino, and my partner in crime, Amanda Bryant. James is taking a step break away from everything for right now, so we're going to give him his time. When he's ready to come back, he's going to come back whenever he's ready. So um, we're back with Big Brother 3. I know you're having trouble with the older Big Brother seasons, which I really love. We're going to cover the next two HOH reigns, and we'll just start with Gerry's HOH reign as a whole. What do you think of Gerry as a HOH?
Well, before we start with that, I do want to say, like, when we first started watching BB3, because we've been covering BB3 for a while, because I've been so slow on watching it because I just couldn't get into it. I just can't get into it. Like I think it's because everyone hyped it up so much for me that I thought it was like this great, amazing season, like season 6, and I just don't get that feel for some reason. So I don't know. I don't know if it's the cast. Like I feel like the cast is just not as great as I would hoped. I don't know why. I just don't connect to this cast as much as other people do. But what I was going to say is now that I'm watching current Big Brother along with this Big Brother, I'm into it a lot more because my head's in the BB mindset. Because when we first started BB3, we were watching Survivor. We were watching the current season of Survivor. We're so bad. Anyway, so trying to watch Survivor and watching the Big Brother 3 at the same time, really couldn't get into it. Now that we're watching Big Brother 24 and I'm watching BB3 at the same time, I just have that Big Brother refresher in my mind, so it's a little bit easier to watch than what it was previously. So I feel like you have to be like in the BB mindset in order to like, the older seasons.
Yeah.
But Gerry's HOH as a whole, I thought was good. It was like the first HOH that we've had so far that's kind of really, really shaking things up, and like the HOH really wanting to do what they want to do versus just following along with everybody else. And I liked that.
Yeah. So Gerry definitely needed to win the HOH to save his. Like he was clearly on the bottom, and he had a chance to go home sooner than later
Yeah.
if he didn't do something. And not only did Gerry win the HOH when he really needed it, he also made a pretty big move within the game.
Yeah.
Previously, we could seen him make a deal with Roddy, said, "Hey, I'm not gonna. If I don't put you up, don't put me up." And he
Right.
stuck to that deal, and he did go after the couples, and he went with Eric and Lisa. And boy, did Eric become like a big crybaby there this whole
He
week.
did. Yes. I don't like Eric. Like he's one of the house guests that I don't like, and there's a reason why he got a purple edit this season because he's not an interesting person. Like the most interesting thing about him is that Lisa liked him. That's like the most like character thing you could say about Eric. I can't say anything about his strategy. I can't say anything about his social game. I just felt like he was a big old dud.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like one thing that was funny. Remember when Roddy won the HOH, and then Jared went and talked to Roddy, and then Marcellus is like, he's a prison bitch. To go up for whoever in
Yeah.
power. And guess who went crawling to Gerry once they won HOH? The
Oh
one
yeah.
and only Marcellus.
Yep.
It just was so funny to me. It's
Can
like,
you imagine if Marcellus wasn't on this season? It would be so boring. I'm telling you, like Marcellus is one of the key, like obviously one of the key, parts of BB3, but it always amazes me like how much he makes this season.
yeah, he's definitely a huge part of it.
Yeah.
Um But so it's just like we see a lot of people saying, "Oh, I'm worried about Eric or Gerry being HOH." Eric says it, Lisa says it. Like a lot of people say it. Even Jason says it. So it's like going into it's like, man, like he has to have some allies somewhere. It's crazy to me
Yeah.
that the people he thinks he's working with don't think they're working with him. It just
No.
kills me.
It's because he's so bad socially and like strategically. Like he brings nothing to the table, so they don't know where he quote unquote like where he stands, but on reality, he's not standing anywhere.
Right. And and so before the nominations are announced, Lisa makes a pitch to Gerry. I think Eric does too, where they throw Josh under the bus, who is someone they're supposed to be aligned with, and call him not a good person and all this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And some of the things
And
like
and Gerry was working with Josh too. Yeah.
yes,
Yeah.
things Josh did say to Gerry was pretty bad, but Gerry
Yeah.
realized, hey, it's not smart for me to get you out. There's other people who are bigger threats to me. They made a truce going into this. And a lot of people were upset that he did that. But to
Mhm.
me, that's a sign of a good player, not totally Xing out somebody, an ally or access to move towards a different direction in the game. Because
Now,
if you get rid of,
opposite of Eric, Josh is very social, very polarizing, personality
yeah,
who can go any way that they want to.
yeah. So it's just, it's, it's, it's something that you see and you're like, maybe, perhaps, da da da. It's just like,
Mhm.
and Eric makes like one more, pitch. It's like, hey, let's, I'll have your back. Da da da. It's like, but you really wouldn't. Like, come on.
No, and honestly, the only reason why Eric wants to stay in that house is because of Lisa. That's the only reason. There's no other reason behind it other than he doesn't want to be away from Lisa. That's the only thing I could think of. What about you?
I mean, I think he thinks he's like he's a good looking guy,
Yeah,
and he's a pretty
he's
like
okay.
overall a pretty nice guy. So he's probably used to a lot of things coming easy to him.
That's
Um,
true.
so like
That's very true.
he's probably thinking, and not saying that like he didn't work hard to have the body he has and things like that, but he's probably used to people like wanting to keep him around, and when he sees somebody that doesn't want to keep him around, it really bothered him.
The pretty persona works. If people
Hmm.
are more attractive, they get things easier. That's just, I
Yeah,
mean, unfortunately, that's just the way it goes, especially in Big Brother. So, you relate to people easier, especially when you got a showmance going on. That's two votes with one. Now, people don't think about it that like that. They're just like, in the honeymoon lovey-dovey stage.
yeah,
But it changes the whole game when you have a showmance. It's a giant target, but at the same time, it's like an extra vote every time. That person's voting with you every single
right.
time.
I think Marcellus had a couple of good little character moments, and even just on episode 12 alone, he had the duck moment where they were playing duck ball, and he was just
Mm-hmm.
don't like in his confessionals, not happy. They're supposed to be in water, and then the whole grooming segment. He's like, these
Yeah,
people are disgusting, and
disgusting.
popping each other's pimples and everything like that. And
Super germaphobe.
yeah, I let's face it, women love to pop the guys' pimples.
Oh yeah, that's just a thing. I mean, like those people that like watch like people popping videos and stuff for like ASMR or whatever it's called. Yeah, ASMR.
So yeah, it's we also get a good food eating challenge,
Mm-hmm.
where they had to eat different things. Marcellus and that was it cow liver, I believe. Oh man, that was so fun. They gave like
Uh,
this this great music, and like it's just like he just conquered the world by eating these
yeah,
three livers or whatever it was.
ridiculous. That's so gross. I mean, I would do it if I had to. If it was cooked, I could do it. But
Yeah, liver's not good. And I've had liver.
as long as I can handle the taste of it, I can eat anything. I'm pretty sure. Like, there's not a lot that I can think of that really like I would not eat because of what it is. Not if it tastes good, it tastes good.
Yeah. So yeah, it was we had easy things to eat. There was
Yeah.
Twinkies and olives. I'm not a big olive fan, but like there's
Ooh,
people
I like
who
black olives. Do you like black olives? Mm.
are all right.
Ooh, yummy.
So, but yeah, it wasn't too bad. I think the liver was probably the hardest thing,
Yeah.
probably for me, like taste wise to eat. I would have there, but it's not
Yeah.
like they're eating stuff like Survivor Food Eating Challenge.
No. Don't give them any ideas. They don't even
Uh,
do food challenges anymore, which is sad.
yeah, they said. So when Eric and Lisa were nominated, Lisa, or Jerry's like, look, I gotta get rid of the couples and da da da, gotta
Mm-hmm.
make some moves, and Lisa says his reasonings was cowardly, like he was a coward for making these moves. It's like, Lisa, stop.
Now
Another
you're
like
just yeah. Everyone's so mad for the wrong reasons. That's like another
Right.
thing that's another thing that gets me about this season is like it's great gameplay in a sense, but at the same time, it's like everyone is on the wrong side. Like nobody knows what they're doing, at least a little bit. I just like I don't know. BB3 just really is lacking something for me, and I can't figure out what it is.
Yeah. So the couplers are upset because they're being targeted, but like they're always going to keep each other around over the other house guests. So I don't understand why they're upset that they are being targeted. Like, what they expect?
And this isn't the first showmance. We've literally had showmances on Big Brother since season 2. Since
Mm-hmm.
season 2, like this is not new information. This is not new knowledge. Even though it's a year after Big Brother 2, let's look ahead to now to BB24. There's a showmance this season. They're handling the exact same way every other showmance has handled, Big
Mm-hmm.
Brother. There's very, very few showmances that make it toward the end. Very few.
Mm-hmm.
But it's proven time and time again. I mean, look, Boogie and Erica, and then Will and Janelle, final 4
Mm-hmm.
of All Stars. Jordan and Jeff, Jordan won.
Mm-hmm.
They made it super far in BB13, which Rachel won, who had Brendan there. Then we
Mm-hmm.
look at Hayden and Hayden and what was
Yeah,
her name?
I forget her name, but she was out early though.
She was out earlier, but he still made it. He still won. He
Yeah.
still made it to the end and won. So it's like it's like showmances can either hurt your game or help your game. It just depends on how good you are at managing it. And I
Yeah.
feel like Lisa and Eric did not manage theirs correctly, and Kiara and Roddy are not managing theirs correctly.
Yeah.
Marcellus and Amy have a better showmance than the other 2 people in the house.
So, initially Lisa's the target, and Eric is super confident. He's like, the guys are gonna keep me. It's not a big deal. Da da da. But he's still all upset, puffing his chest out, and not happy that
Right.
him and his woman are nominated. Excuse me. Danielle does realize though that the women have been voted out a lot lately, and I think the first 4 evictions are all women, or 3 evictions were all women. So this is the 4th eviction. So she's like,
Right.
maybe Eric has to go this round. And so she starts to set a plan in the motion for that to happen. Lisa does so some of Lisa's quotes are not great looking back on them. Like she doesn't think she thinks a good person, the best person should win the game and things like that. It's just
I haven't seen much from Lisa yet. Does she get better later on? Because like she wins the whole shebang. So like, is it like does she get better later on, or is it like they just vote for her? Like, should she have won in the end? Or I don't know. This cast just isn't it for me, man. Like Lisa is boring. Roddy was boring. Eric was boring.
Roddy wasn't
Kiara's
boring.
a bitch. Roddy was boring.
He's not. He's so funny.
He's boring. He's so boring. I don't like Roddy. I didn't like Eric or Roddy. They both were boring to me. Kiara's a bitch. Amy's funny. Then they booted her out. Marcellus is good, but he's by himself. Gerry's not bad. I don't know. I just feel like there's nobody this season that I'm like invested in or like love except for Marcellus. And Marcellus isn't even a good game player. So it's like,
So anyways, so Lisa's upset. She wants to know why Gerry targeted them instead of Josh, for Josh saying all those things. And he just pretty much said, look, I got to do what I think is going to get me further in the game, which is the truth. But yeah, so like basically this whole week is them pissing and moaning for the most part. And Eric tried to like muscle all his way to making Gerry a move like, hey, if I stay, you're gonna be in trouble, and all this stuff. And it's just like because we get to the power veto, Kiara ends up winning the power veto, so they're trying to convince Gerry to put Josh up instead and vote Josh out. And Gerry's like, I'm not gonna do that. If
no,
Kiara uses the veto, Roddy will go up.
Yep.
And so Kiara does not end up using the veto, and Eric at least stay on. They do have like a little nice dinner day, and it's
Which is like that's the smart move to do. You're gonna keep your showmance safe, and if the other one has to go down, then it has to go down.
right. Yeah, so like
That's just
it's
how it goes.
right, and like Gerry said, I needed to make a move.
He had, I mean, he did the right thing. I like people that make moves during their HOHs. That's what the point is.
Yeah. I also this week we do get a fun segment where Danielle's in the confessional and said, "Look, Jason, they think Jason's not even playing the game." And then there's like a big line of confessionals. Everyone's like, "Jason's not even playing. He's just such a nice guy." Da da da. And then he's in the confessional saying stuff and montage, and then them talking game and trying to decide who's going to go. And it's just that to me. That's why I like the season. They have a lot of fun segments showing, like showing characteristic moments about the cast. Like you
But
get
we like
Marcellus
that
moments.
because because the DRs are authentic. They're real. They're actually people
Yes.
saying what they think. They're not the scripted line bullshit that they do nowadays, that they've done
Right.
for eons upon eons of seasons. Like ever since Big Brother 14, or no, ever since Big Brother 12 with Britney's DRs. Britney's DRs were so good during Big Brother 12, if you remember. They were so good during Big Brother 12. They wanted to mock her style after that. I mean, it pretty much changed DRs forever. And ever since then, they just, they try to find those fire DRs, and they aren't because they're just normal people. And so then they feel like they have to feed them lines. And you can tell there's no authentic DRs anymore. The most authentic DR that I have seen in recent BB was Terrence's family. Taylor's family DR. That was the most authentic DR of the whole entire season and the best DR of the whole season because it wasn't fake. Back here in BB3, they didn't do that back then. And you can tell like the DRs are real. These are actually the real thoughts about the game. Now we get, oh my God, did you see this car? Blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
Like,
I'm here to win it. I gotta save myself, or I'm gonna go home.
Or it's oh, Julie, you're prettier than a flock of flower fields. Like, we don't care about that shit. Like, quit. Or they'll show us the comp and then they'll have the player in the DR explain the comp. Like, I don't need you to do that. I can see with my own eyes. Like, I don't know. I just feel like we really lost DRs compared to what they used to be. I like the DRs in this season because they feel real.
Yeah. I agree. I think the older seasons you see the people with personalities you can see within the DR.
Yeah.
You can see their real thoughts on the game, their real thoughts on the people itself, and it's just like they're not scripted or fed lines or say, "Hey, let's talk about this," or like you just tell they're more, "All right, talk to me. What's up?"
Right.
Or how do you feel about this person? Or are you working with this person? And then just let them go. And that's how it should be. Simple as that.
I agree.
So we also do get another fun segment with the women, and they're talking about how much they miss sex. And Danielle was like, "I hope my husband's watching. I hope he's working out, taking his vitamins, because I'm gonna need some attention when I get out of here."
It's so funny. Dude, I love Danielle. She's so funny.
Yeah, she is funny. You see her, they show her personality a lot with how much she tease and joke around. And she was a young mother, so she was like in her 30s, I believe, when she got on the show.
Yeah, she was.
So,
she was in her mid-30s, I believe. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then she never came back, has she?
Yeah, she was on All Stars.
Or All Stars, that's right. Yeah, she was on All Stars. But after the All Stars, she never came back.
No. But yeah, so that was fun. That was funny. Like, Kiara talks about sex all the time, but it was funny hearing Danielle talk about like
Danielle's side of it.
Yeah, I think that was the funny thing. Is just like, I hope you're watching. I hope you're working out. And then later on, I forget. I don't know if it's one we're covering, but I'm gonna say anyways. They do like an interview with her husband. And he's like, "Don't worry, Danielle, I'm working out," and shows him doing push-ups and stuff.
So goofy.
It's so much fun though. So
silly.
So Kiara doesn't use the veto, so it's them. Those two are going home no matter what.
Right.
So we're going to the vote. Eric is still super confident.
Yeah,
Hey,
he thinks he's staying.
I'm staying. The
Yeah.
guys that got me. There's no way they're voting me out. And Roddy convinces
Surprise, surprise.
Kiara to vote out Lisa. So they're like, oh, so you're probably thinking, oh, this is probably in the bag. And then you go to the vote, and it's the first ever tie. It's
First
3
ever.
votes Eric, 3 votes Lisa. And Gerry has to break the tie, and he votes out Eric. He's not happy.
No.
So Danielle, Jason, and Marcellus voted to send Eric home, and
Which this was all Danielle's plan, yeah?
right,
Yes.
and Kiara, Roddy, and Jason or Josh voted for Eric to stay.
Yeah.
So they didn't think there was going to have to be a tie. They thought Kiara would vote Lisa. It's not a big deal, but Roddy convinced her and
Yep.
really showed her like, hey, da da da, we gotta need Eric. We need
This
Eric.
is what you need to do. Yeah.
Yeah, and so
Kiara's such a bad player.
so they're really blindsided. It's something, and like people's faces aren't happy. Josh isn't happy.
No.
Kara's not happy. Um, Roddy's definitely not happy. But it's just they get that, but they got like it was funny. Oh, I
Was.
love the blind side. That's why I think I love this season so much. There's so many close votes and so many swings and so many
Mm-hmm.
blind sides. It's just like Big Brother 23, which was
I feel
a
like we
fine.
haven't got there yet. Maybe the more
Yeah,
we watch, the more I like it.
Big Brother 23, it was a fine season, but my biggest issue is there was 0 blind sides besides Kylan at the end. And I think that's
Well,
what the
yeah.
problem with modern Big Brother. I think 24 is pretty good with that, but overall, as modern Big Brother,
Well,
like
now with Big Brother is, if you haven't noticed, it's funny that we're talking about this now because it's happening this week. Is they're splitting the house up.
right,
This is what they're going to be doing now. This twist is not going to go away.
no,
This big twist, no, this twist is not going to go away. They're going to be doing this almost every season or every other season, but it's put in place to break up big alliances in the house. So I'm just glad that Big Brother is actually doing what they're supposed to be doing in the sense of not letting the game be broken and just letting a big, 6 to 8 person alliance run the whole game the whole time.
yeah,
This split house twist they're doing it during BB24 is preventing those big alliances from being able to do
yeah,
that. That's why I don't mind this twist. As I hate this twist because I hate this twist because
yeah,
it fucks up the timing of the game. But for Big Brother, it works because it keeps the majority alliance from running the house from beginning to end.
yeah,
And Survivor, you don't have that because you have tribes and you have swaps and you have to merge and blah, 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 blah,
right,
blah. But in Big Brother, you're all together 100% of the time from the very beginning. And you
right,
just, vote out one person a week. So I like this twist in the sense that it does break. You don't see that majority alliance up. And also at the beginning of BB24, when it was split into 3, there was like 3-4 different main alliances that was all going against each other. That's what we want to see. We don't want to
right.
see side 1, side 2. This side is dominating the other side because they have one person or 2 people more. It's boring. We don't want to watch that. So
Yeah.
I think that they fixed it so far, but back in BB3, it hasn't even gotten to the point yet of the giant alliance. We really don't get there
Until like 16.
until 12 with the brigade. The brigade was
Yeah, but
probably
that was a small alliance that branched out to small alliances. I would
yeah,
say 16 is the first giant
yeah,
alliance that stuck
probably
together. I think the
yeah.
brigade, the brigade did was that they were loyal to the 4 for the most part, besides Matt, and then they grabbed one person.
They were
Ki-
also one of the first ones to keep it quiet and not
right,
have their
right,
alliance shown out in the open like
right,
they do nowadays.
right.
Like let's
Three,
look at
three,
BB3 right now.
yeah, 3-4 person alliance is not a giant
Mhm.
alliance.
No, it's not.
That's fun to see a 3-4 person alliance run the show, and you're like, oh man, that's impressive. Um,
Yeah.
but a giant alliance just steamrolling, and you're just like, oh,
It makes it
okay,
easier. The more people you have on your side and they're actually sticking to their word, the easier your game is. But that's
yeah,
why Big Brother and Survivor is difficult because
yeah,
you have, your majority alliance. There's 5 different fake majority alliances. So which one is the real one? And you have to get yourself in the real one,
right.
and not the fake one.
So, we get to the HOH comp. They got to practice it beforehand. That's something that they get to do back in the day. They have to practice some of these, and basically they had to roll a ball all the way to the other end and not past this line that went over to the gutter. The closest to the line wins HOH.
Like
Kiara,
shuffleboard.
yeah, Kiara ends up winning HOH, and it's like, oh, and this is another reason why I think I enjoy this. It's like the sides keep
The
bouncing back
powers
and
go
forth,
back and forth. Yeah.
but Kiara's a big idiot, and it doesn't work out the way it should probably
No.
work out in her
She's a
favor.
bad player. Bad player.
So they are told that one player will be coming back, or yeah, one player will be coming back into the game, either Lori, Tanya, Amy, or Eric. And Lori, Tanya, and Amy they're all on like tropical vacations and things like that, and they're like partying it up with random people. And it's like, oh man, they're not really being punished here.
No, definitely not. Dude, Amy was the only one out of those 4 I wanted to come back. It was like inevitable that if Amy didn't come back, any of the other 3 that would have came back would have been the first out again. I really do
Yeah.
think so. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So, anyways, we start. Kira, all right, let's just put it this way: Kira's HRH reign is terrible. It's a terrible
Awful.
reign. It's really bad. uh, so her targets she ends up putting the 2 people who voted with her the last round up on the block.
Up on the block. Because
There's
of
3
Roddy.
votes. Yeah, 3 votes. 3 votes for Eric to stay was Lisa, Josh, and Roddy. Or not Lisa, Kiara, Josh, and Roddy.
Kiara, Josh, and Roddy.
And
Yeah.
Kiara nominated Josh and Roddy. Like, what?
Why did Kiara put Roddy on the block?
Because she didn't want him to win the veto and pull Josh off. Yeah.
Isn't that her showmance though? Like that's
Yeah.
that's what I didn't get about this either. Is like how you just put your showmance up and not even you both have a plan that's what's going to happen. You're putting your showmance up because you don't trust him. Like what is going on?
Yeah. So Roddy is very, very devastated that Eric
Yeah.
left. It's like a big sad moment. It's funny. But
bromance.
Kiara is really mad at Jason because this is the first time Jason lied to them and said, "Don't worry, I'll vote with you guys," and he didn't do it because he's actually playing the game. They're just not realizing.
Exactly.
So
Jason's so quiet.
Yeah, he's so quiet. But Danielle does say something that's very valuable in this game to Lisa a lot. She said, "Look, keep your mouth shut and your ears and your eyes open." And that's a good philosophy. It's real, especially in a house where they can't go very
Best
far.
thing to do. Right.
So it's not like they can just go walk off and you can't hear what they're saying. If they're saying something in the house, you could probably hear.
Small house,
Yeah,
tiny house. We have to remember how small this house is compared to now.
It's literally like 4 rooms.
Yeah.
It's the kitchen / dining room, and it leads right to the living room. And there's 2 or 3 bedrooms and an HOH room.
And the bathroom. Yep.
So, yeah, it's not a very big house. But Lisa does have a little moment within herself when she's in the diary room. Says, "Look, now that Eric's gone, I am now crowned the Princess of Darkness."
Good Lord.
So this is probably why you don't like Roddy. So they do have a segment where people are getting annoyed how intelligent he is.
I remember that. Yeah.
The things he likes aren't necessarily the things everyone else likes. He's more of a intellectual than like a reality TV watcher, per se. So, all right, back to the thing on hand. So, Jason is having a tough time within the house because of his virgin years. The women are always talking about sex, and they're not always wearing the most clothes, and yeah, Kiara is really nasty, and it's a lot. So I forgot that they didn't find out, they didn't find out about the people coming back until Kiara was HOH, and expected unexpected pops up on the screen, and this is like the first sign that something's gonna happen.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So yeah, then they find out, and people aren't happy. I don't think any of them are happy, which I wouldn't be either. I think Marcellus
No.
is the only one that's happy, or Lisa, if they can get Eric or Amy back.
Amy, Amy.
But yeah, so Kiara pulls Gerry in and said, "Hey, would you vote for Josh if he's on the block?" And she's like, "I swear." He's like, "I swear." Da 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 da. And it just baffles my mind why she's targeting Josh, because he kind of told a lie about Lisa not liking Kiara or something like that. But this is literally right around the time Kiara was bashing her to Roddy. So it's like it doesn't make any sense to me how
And
she's
they
trying to
don't
use.
like each other, so Josh wasn't lying. Lisa
Yeah,
and Kiara don't like each other.
they do, but they don't.
Right.
And so it's like, yes, he kind of lied, but it's like at the same time he didn't. And what, you're already
That's
bashing
true.
him, so why are you mad?
For women reasons.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So after Josh and Roddy are nominated, Josh has a moment and he's not happy. And Lisa confronts him. There's a big argument in the house. So Lisa confronts Josh about the vote. And he's like, "You're right. I did vote for you." And like he didn't hide it and said, da da da. So it's just like, uh,
It's
and
like
he,
inevitable.
right. And he told him, she's like, "Oh, Kara said you convinced her." And he's like, "I didn't convince her. Roddy did."
Roddy convinced her, yeah.
Exactly.
And they're shocked. Like, oh, the showmans talk to each other. How
Yeah.
shocking. You know, like these people are so stupid.
Yeah. And so it's just like, yeah, I don't know. I don't understand. I don't understand her logic. He's
She doesn't
one of
have any
he's one of the two people who voted with you last
with you
round.
last round.
It just doesn't make any
Such
sense.
a bad HOH.
Yeah, and then so Josh is upset and he wants to leave because he's like, "Look, you guys are my two closest allies, and if you guys don't trust me, like, what am I even doing here?"
And I think the reason why was just like personal reasons. Ryan was just like living with him reasons, like he got annoying or whatever the case was. Like
Yeah.
there was no real reason that Josh was not a threat. Josh was not a threat to win the game.
No,
There's no way.
I don't think Josh wins unless he's sitting next to Gerry.
Yeah. And at
Or
least Gerry made a move with his HOH.
right. So like that's the only circumstance I see Josh winning. So it's like he's not a threat. But yeah, so it's just we see a lot of arguments this week, and a lot of emotions. Um Josh almost cries being nominated. He's definitely having a tough time.
He's yeah, devastated with it.
Danielle wants to target Roddy instead of Josh. And her antennas are pop up. It's like, look, I can get rid of him. But Jason's like, look, I can't do it. I gave him my word. I can't do it. So she's like, all right, God bless him. He told me he couldn't do it. I'm not going to do it. So she goes talks to Marcellus, and Marcellus is like, we could.
Yeah.
Who would be our third vote? Because we need 3 votes. And they're like, Gerry. And so they contemplate talking to Gerry or Lisa.
Or Lisa, yeah.
And they contemplate talking about it, and it was just it was tossed around a lot this week. That was the big narrative.
Yeah.
Roddy or Josh.
Roddy or Josh. Roddy or Josh. Which one's better? Which one's worse?
Mm-hmm. And so it's like it's definitely up in consideration. And to me, that's the optimal move. Like she
Out
puts
of
her own
two, yeah.
her own showmans up, and you
I would have
blindside
loved to
them.
see
Oh,
literally I would have loved to see Roddy go in Kiara's HOH. That would have been
yeah,
so great.
right.
So great.
The veto was it was okay. They had to put the sequence of events into order.
Yeah.
And did it a couple of rounds. Lisa ends up winning. She didn't get a single one wrong. She's not going to use the veto.
There's no way. Yeah.
No, she's not going to use the veto. So
She'd be dumb if she did.
she keeps claiming there's a new Lisa since Eric left. I think she's actually playing the game now. I don't
think she
know.
is too.
I think that's about the new.
I'm excited to see more of that. I'm excited to see more of her game now. Now that her showmance is gone, and now that Josh's distraction is gone, it'd be interesting to see.
Right. So
Mm-hmm.
there's another big fight where Josh and Kiara are gonna fight. This week is just a lot of fighting.
A lot of
Where
fighting.
Josh confronts her and says, "I don't know why you're using me as a scapegoat. You voted for Lisa." He's like, "I didn't convince you. Roddy convinced you.
Roddy did, yeah.
Even if he did convince you, you did it by your choice. You voted for Lisa." And Kiara lied to Lisa and said, "Don't worry, I voted for you." So she thinks she got away with it, but Danielle told on her. Said Kiara voted against you.
Oh yeah.
And so
And now
Lisa,
Lisa's pissed.
yeah, Lisa was acting
Mm-hmm.
like this is the first time she found out about it, but all reality she already knew. And Kiara tried to make up some lie, but she look, she's supposedly your best friend in the house and you voted against her. Not late in the game where it benefits you. You just do it because your showmate tells you to. It's not a good look.
Not a good look.
So, Josh does make a pitch for Lisa to use the veto on Roddy. Come on.
Lisa would never.
Yeah.
That alliance is dead. Like that showmance alliance, dead. That doesn't
Yeah.
exist anymore if that showmance is still alive.
Yeah. So at the beginning of the week, Josh is very, I'm not going to campaign against you, Roddy. I'm going to stay loyal to you, you and me, and be like,
Right.
we're boys. But by towards the end of the week, he started fighting this fight, and then starts talking to Danielle, starts talking to Gerry, starts talking to Jason about trying to save him, about him staying in the game. This will surprise me, is that he talked to Marcellus, and Marcellus went and told Roddy. And it's like, Marcellus, you have information. Why wouldn't you keep that to yourself? And Roddy's man confronts Josh, and he's like, "Look, you did the same thing to me before we were on the block."
Yeah.
He's like, "You got all the votes to stay before I put on the block. That's the same thing."
It's exactly
And
the same thing. But no one wants to hear their own medicine given back to them.
yeah, so Roddy does this thing where he is very good at manipulating the people he's close with. Does it with Josh. He does it with Lisa. He did it with Lisa. He did it with Kiara. He even did it with Amy. Like, he does it a lot throughout this season, where
Because
he
he's
just
smart. That's one thing he's got in his pocket. He's an intelligent guy.
right, and he makes you feel bad for putting him in that position. And it's like, why are you putting me in this position? Why are you doing this to me? In all reality, he did it to you.
He's trying to cover up his own dirt.
Right. So we do have a funny segment where Kiara's friends talk about Roddy, and Roddy's friends talk about Kiara. Roddy's friends are not a fan of Kiara's friends or Kiara herself.
No. Dude, that was so funny, that segment. They were just shit talking to each other. They're like my family and the friends are like, they're not good for each other. We don't
Both of
understand why
them
they're even
hated
together.
them.
Both of them did not like the other person.
Right. And so it's them going back and
Gassing
forth.
up the other, yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty funny. But we do get to the eviction. It's a 5-0 vote. Josh is out.
Yeah.
This is the first unanimous vote of the season.
Josh
and
is
Josh is
bad.
gone. Oh no, Amy was for the first one. Josh is the second one. He goes out to talk to Julie, and Julie's like, "Look, what if I told you had the votes up to a couple days ago, but then you lost them?" And he's like, "I don't believe you." He's like, "I'm telling you, you did," and he didn't believe it. But Danielle really tried.
He pretty much said he was like, "You think that they would have until they got to the DR, and then they would have voted me out."
So I do think Josh gets kind of screwed over here.
He definitely does, yeah.
Because everyone gets a chance to come back but him.
Yeah.
The four
Which is
people
bullcrap.
the 4 people get a chance to come back but him. So they get they have the little package, they have to answer questions, and they say, "How much are you willing to give up if you could get back in the Big Brother house?" Everyone said half except for Lori, who said 50,000. So that means she didn't make it to round 2.
Right.
We get to round 2. how many days would you stay on peanut butter jelly? 40 days left, or 42 days left. Uh, Amy and Eric both said all 42. Tanya said 21. So Tanya is out of the running. So now
Okay.
it's between Eric and Amy, who to get back in the house. So by doing this tiebreaker, this is how they're doing the tiebreaker. They're going to the people inside the house and they're separating them. They're giving them 2 paddles, and when they're called, they're going to raise 1 paddle to designate to make the decision on who they'd like to see come back
Right.
into the Big Brother house between Eric and Amy. And of
Right.
course, Amy ends up winning.
Oh, of course, yeah.
Everybody,
She's way more likable than Erica is.
yeah.
It's inevitable. She was going to win against anybody.
Roddy and Kiara voted for Eric.
Mhm.
Marcellus, Danielle, Gerry, Lisa, and Jason voted for Amy.
Isn't it so funny that Lisa didn't want to bring Eric back in the game?
Yeah. She said that she didn't want him back in the game because he would have hurt her game.
Yeah.
Which
There
I
you
kind of
go,
think.
talking like a true player.
Yeah. So Amy returns. Everyone's excited and start talking to her. They get right into the HOH competition, which they have to all sit in this giant tub.
So gross.
Yeah, giant tub.
Ugh.
And they cannot leave. They cannot sleep. And the last person in the tub wins HOH. So going into this week, I think it was all talked about. Whoever wins HOH is just gonna put up the person returning into the house up. So a lot of them felt safe going into this. We get to the HOH, and they get dumped dead squid on them, and they and Roddy gets out right away. He's like, "Oh hell no!"
Yeah.
He started jumping out, and if I was Kiara, I'd be pissed. Like, dude, Amy does not like me. She just got back in this house. Like,
Right.
you need to keep me safe. And he doesn't. He hops out of there. The first one before the live even ended.
He's like, I'm not going. I probably would have done the same thing. I'm not sitting in a fucking tub full of squid.
Yeah, it'd be pretty gross.
It'd be gross, especially when
Yeah.
it got cold and it smelled. Ugh. Bye.
Think about it.
I'm already out.
There's probably people
I'm already
who
out.
peed in that tub, or
Ew, that's disgusting.
they're farting
Just
in
their
that
sweat,
tub.
just their sweat alone is enough for me. Listen, I'm not a public pool person. I'm not a public water person, other than like a body of water.
What would you do if all you seen is some bubbles come up?
I'd get out right there, and you're going on the block next, motherfucker. I don't care what our alliance is. I don't care how good we are. If you fart in the tub that we are both sitting in, you're going on the fucking block. I don't care. That's just point blank. That's just point blank, period. And you know what? That motherfucker will go home on a whatever zero boat. Make sure of it.
Yeah, so yeah, that's a gross competition. Like,
That's
people are
disgusting.
sweating. Like, what if people didn't wash before that? Like, what if they worked out earlier? Or I guess it's during.
Here's my thing. It would also be different if it was running water. If it was like a jacuzzi tub where it like cycled through with chlorine and stuff, or like a pool where it cycled through with chemicals, it'd be different. But they're literally sitting in just water.
Yeah,
whatever
just water.
Fucking gross water that BB give. No, I'm out. I'm already out. I would rather do a gross food comp than to sit in a tub full of other people with no circulating water.
We don't get to see who wins the HOH on these episodes. But were you surprised that Amy was the one who came back?
No.
And surprised that they brought somebody back? Because were you aware that they did? No.
But it isn't really surprising to me. I mean, it's happened in Survivor and Big Brother enough that it's just like whatever. Now, obviously, if I was watching BB live at the time, it would have been like, holy shit, that would have been like the turn. Obviously the biggest thing that's ever happened in any of the reality television shows. At that point in time, probably of somebody coming back, because at this point in time, it was what Big Brother 3. They would have been on Survivor season 6 by now. Yeah, they've been on Amazon around Thailand, Amazon by now. And they don't bring people back until the Outcast twist in season 7. Mm-hmm. So that might be what they got that off of, is Big Brother doing a returning player. Yeah,
probably. But
You'll never
yeah,
know.
what'd you think of this HOH competition going into this week?
It's gross. I don't like it.
You don't like it? You don't think it's fun experience to watch?
I mean, it's cool to watch, I guess, but it grosses me out. I don't know. I hope I like this Big Brother season more, and now that all the dud people are out.
Yeah,
I just like Lori boring, Tanya boring. You know, shouldn't even have been on the season in the first place. And then who was third boot?
or Amy,
Amy. I
and then
liked
Eric.
Amy, but nobody else liked Amy. And then Eric was a total dud. And then Josh went. He was entertaining, but he just wasn't great at the game. So who do we got left? We got Gerry, which is okay. I like Gerry. Charia, a bitch, doesn't deserve to win the game. Horrible game player. Lisa,
Roddy.
who's kind of boring. Roddy's boring. Marcellus is great. Danielle's great. That's it. That's like the only people. Jason's fine. I just want more content of him. There's no content of Jason. I forget he's playing the game half the time. It's just like there's 3 people I like out of the whole cast, and that's not enough for me.
See, I like Amy. I like Marcellus. I like Jason. I like Danielle. I'm okay with Roddy. I think Kiara as a character is something to watch. Gerry is okay. But I think the people who excel a lot, so that helps.
Yeah.
They did talk about. I feel like Gerry's content is always about how gross he is, about how his hygiene's not good, about how he works out and he instead of washing his shirt, he throws it in the dryer and then puts it back on.
Ew, God. I can't stand this. No wonder Marcellus is so grossed out by everybody. I don't blame him. I can't believe Marcellus competed in this competition. Now that we're sitting here talking about it.
Yeah, I'm surprised. I'm surprised he didn't do what Roddy did.
Yeah, and get the fuck out as soon as they carry that bucket of squid over.
So, do you know who wins HOH next?
No, you can tell me. I don't care.
Well, who do you think's gonna win HOH?
Well, I'm hoping Amy.
You hoping Amy?
Yeah, that'd be cool.
So we'll see. I'm not gonna say anything. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I like this season. My thing is, out of the 5 votes we've had, 3 of them have been split votes.
Yeah, which we like.
Yeah,
right.
And so
it makes it interesting.
Nobody wants to see a 5-1 vote, 4 to 1 vote, 3 to 1 vote, 2 to 1 vote. Like, that's not entertaining.
No,
I've seen somebody get blindsided, but like Gerry blindsiding Eric right to his face, it has to look him right in the eye. Said, "I vote to evict you, Eric."
Listen, this is, if you haven't noticed, this is the same thing that's going on right now with Terrence and Turner.
Yeah.
This week, right, that happened in Big Brother 3 is literally happening right now with Terrence's HOH. He literally told Turner all week long, "We're good. We're homies. I'm not putting you up. I'm not putting you up. I'm not putting you up." Boom, puts him up.
So that's
literally what happened with.
There's a rumor.
Gerry.
Spoiler for Big Brother 24, real quick. There's a rumor that a wall yeller yelled.
Yeah, I heard about this.
And Terrence heard "Don't trust Kyle," so he used the veto and put Kyle up, which is just so disappointing if Kyle goes home here.
I know.
So hopefully,
but you know what? I want to see. But this is the difference between Lisa and Eric and Alyssa and Kyle. Kyle goes home. Alyssa falls. She has no leg to stand on to play her own game. I'm not confident enough that she's going to be able to handle her own game without somebody to help her. Whereas Lisa's a little bit stronger than that. But from what I heard, Alyssa is the one who put. Isn't that what you told me? Like Alyssa was the one that told them first. Was the one going after.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, well, we better get off here before we get on a big tangent about Big Brother 24. We are like halfway through Big Brother 3.
I just want to give up already.
We got, I think there's 30 episodes around there. So we just finished like 17. So like halfway. But I mean,
it'll be easier to watch now that I'm in the BB mindset versus just Survivor. We get new Survivor though in a month.
I know. I like to try to be done with this, but by Survivor, that'd be cool.
Yeah.
But thank you guys for watching or listening wherever you're watching. and getting this podcast. Really means a lot to us. If you can give us a like, comment, subscribe to any of our locations. We're located on all kinds of audio forums and YouTube. Join our
Yeah.
Facebook group. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. We'll talk to you guys later. Bye.